Hey everyone, what's going on? I'm back making a video. Hopefully, I'll be able to continue to make videos. Literally, just so much other stuff has been going on, and everything I owned in 2017, I swear, has broke. A while back when I quit making videos, and whatever, in the middle of February is because my laptop was the charger was cut, and then all of a sudden my webcam and everything else was all messed up. And just in the past week or whatever, like the a flame, not really a flame, but like a big old spark came out of where the power thing is, and then yeah. I basically had to get this new laptop here. I just got a refurbished laptop. So hopefully I'll be able to continue to make videos. It's really dark because I'm sitting out in my car as well because I also have 8 people living in my 2.5 bedroom house right now. I don't know. Just lots of circumstances going on. It's not like the end of the world, but it's very hard to make videos when you have 8 people living in a small house. And, it's awkward for one talking and to the computer when there's other people around. And most of the time when I get time to do this, it's late at night and everybody's sleeping. So I figured, what the heck? I could just go out and sit in the car, make videos, whatever else. But I really thought about maybe I just wouldn't make videos anymore as well and just do the blog. And I don't want to do that just for the fact that, like, I learn a lot from myself if I rewatch some of these videos. And a lot of times I do explain a little bit more of what I'm talking about on my blog. And it just seems more personal, I guess. And I don't want to stop making videos. I mean, it does get frustrating though. Like you make videos for years, right? Like for 2 years straight, I put a video out almost every day. And then for what purpose? It almost seems like it's like I'm documenting all of this, yet I still have hardly any subscribers. I don't get any views, and possibly, and most likely, that's all part of the deal. They ghost all of my comments anymore. Once in a while, they'll let me comment back to people. The last 5 videos that I put out, I had all kinds of comments. Couldn't respond to any of them. I'd get a message on my phone. I got on YouTube to go respond, and then the comments aren't there. So you can't even comment back to people. But I just think there's got to be a better way to get this information out to people other than YouTube, other than my blog. Even when I go out and talk to people, people just aren't ready for this information. That's what I've came to the conclusion. There's a few people, that's it. Most people just aren't ready to seek truth. And hopefully just making these videos continually, maybe people who are starting to seek the truth will stumble upon, what I am showing, and possibly it will have an effect on them. So I want to keep making videos, but at the same time, you wonder, like, there's got to be a better way to get this information out. I've been thinking that for a long time, and I don't know. It's just this stuff. Although it is so obvious to me, it's not obvious to most people, and they have to want to see it for themselves. And I've been trying to explain this to people for since I've learned it, and it just doesn't do any good. It doesn't do any good to you know you go somewhere and you're trying to have a good time, and people start talking about the game, and then it doesn't do any good to just say a bunch of stuff, and then, like, nobody cares anyway. They're just like, who cares? What are you even talking about? And then there might be one person who kind of wants to hear more, and then the next time you talk to them, they're completely blank. They have no idea what you're talking about. They didn't go apply it for themselves, you know. So they have to want, from what I think, they have to want to understand it. And I've also really, really noticed how much signs and symbolism play into a lot of whatever is going on. Gematria really solidifies it helps you understand the signs and symbols, but literally, the signs and symbols I really think are bigger than gematria lately in my life. There has been just so many odd occurrences of the same theme coming up over and over. I've been documenting on my blog just all kinds of twin symbolism. Earlier in the year, I was talking about how my girlfriend was pregnant with twins and had a miscarriage. She even cracked open an egg that had two yolks in it. And we looked it up and it said, that means you're pregnant with twins or somebody in your family is going to die soon. That's like the folklore. And there's been all kinds of stuff. Jay-Z and Beyonce had twins in Gemini. Gemini the twins. George Clooney also had twins in Gemini. And all of these weird coincidences keep happening in my life, and they're showing me twin symbolism. Like, just the other day, or I don't even know what it was. I was reading through some of my posts because there's just so many of them where the TV all of a sudden will randomly be about twins. Like, I was making a post and I looked up at the TV and they were introducing the two twins on the game show, Idiot Test or whatever. Or I don't even know. I can't even remember a ball. Oh, I was at work one day and this girl came in and she looked a lot like my girlfriend. She even had the exact same tattoo on her left boob or whatever, and she had the same hair color and everything. And I just out of nowhere just said, "Hey, that's your twin or whatever." And I was like just joking. I didn't even think about all the twin symbolism. And I was training a kid in the kitchen that night, and it turns out that he's also a twin. And like I had no idea that the kid I was training that same night was a twin. And the other person that was working was my cousin who has twin sisters. And there's just been all kinds of just crazy twin stuff going on. I even randomly was watching this TV show or cartoon called Gravity Falls that I'm going to make a whole separate video on. But I was watching it and literally, like, I noticed that it was about twins, right? They're the twin pines. That's their what is it, Dipper and Mabel Pines. And there's a whole bunch of interesting stuff in that because they even use gematria and coding like that in every episode. And it's kind of like a fun thing for kids. They're programming kids that, Illuminati confirmed, everything else. But I want to make a whole separate video on that. Their uncle's a Freemason or a Shriner and so on. And the guy who wrote it he has the same gematria as Gravity Falls. They both equal 53. And I'm sitting on the car. Holy cow, the internet's going super slow. But, just lots of weird stuff. All this randomly, I just sit down. The first thing that I see before I go to work is a cartoon I've never seen before with tons of symbolism in it. And it involves twins, right? And I mean, I don't know. I've just been documenting a lot. And the other day, I went to the doctor with my girlfriend for her ultrasound, and I was bringing up about why there's certain stories in the news and why other stories aren't there. And it was something to do with missing children. I don't know if we were driving down the interstate and there was like an Amber Alert maybe on the billboard or whatever. I can't remember what it was, but I remember that I was talking about the Natalee Holloway story, and I was like, why is that story so much more important than any other missing person story? And literally, I come home and I get on my phone and I go to CNN, and the first thing I see is an article about Natalee Holloway and how her remains were possibly found. And it looks like I'd even talked about twins in that post as well, which is interesting. I also didn't have internet. My computer broke. I've got a new computer. My girlfriend never paid the internet bill. And the internet is just terrible the way it is. And now it's even worse after getting it reconnected. But it took me like 5 days to get it reconnected. Big long story, but I got it reconnected. So I didn't have internet for a bunch of days. And I decided to rent a couple movies. And I rented the movie called Forgotten Phoenix about the Phoenix Lights. And then this other movie about, it was tons to do with water. I think it was called A Cure for Wellness. And I had no idea what this movie was. My girlfriend picked it out. Had no idea what it was all about. But it was the next day after going to the doctor or whatever. And the doctor told my girlfriend to drink lots of water because she was really dehydrated. And then this movie is all about water and people being dehydrated and a ton of stuff. And then think about Phoenix in regards to being dehydrated, the desert, no water. And then I get internet back, and the big story is Donald Trump is in Phoenix giving a speech at in Phoenix. It's like, what are the odds of that? And I mean, the other day I saw a story about the Catholic priest admitting he was in the KKK. KKK equals 33, priest equals 33. He was 33 years old when he became a priest. I mean, the media is coded like this like crazy, but it's just weird that I talk about stuff and then it starts showing up in the media, you know? And also in that post about Phoenix, for whatever the reason, there was a bunch of stuff that was all to do with water. And, you know, Donald Trump equals 68. I watched that movie 68 days after his, two movies, 68 days after his birthday. Water equals 68. I can't even remember it all. I think Phoenix Forgotten equals 68, the title of that movie. And I started thinking about the movie Signs with Mel Gibson, right? And it also stars Joaquin Phoenix, right? His brother's River Phoenix. And, you know, just some weird stuff. And I rewatched the movie Signs. And that movie just, it's like so true to the things that I've been experiencing in the last couple years. You know, basically his wife gets pinned in between the truck and the tree, and then she tells him her, you know, her last words were like to tell him to see and tell his brother Merrill to swing away, and he never understood it. And then at the very end, you know, they talk about, you know, do you live your life? Does everything happen because it's a coincidence, or do you believe there's some higher power, something else going on that is, you know, that is the reason for her last words were that, right? And then at the end, he realizes that he's supposed to see, and he sees the baseball bat, and his brother's supposed to swing away, right? And everything happens for a reason, type of thing. Like it's all of this bad stuff happened to make something positive later on in his life, you know? And it's just so true to what I've been experiencing. And then it's just funny that it's connected to aliens and connected to water because water is what kills them. And I was even making fun of that movie just a couple days before, and then it just popped into my head because I was saying, you know, the Earth's atmosphere is made up of how much water and whatnot. And so, like, wouldn't they just die anyway? Like, you know what I mean? It just doesn't make any sense why they would come to this planet that's made up of how much water, you know, and water kills them. Possibly the aliens didn't know, blah, 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 you know, just whatever. Just thinking about the reasoning of that movie. They should have just moved to the lake and they could have ended the movie, you know. But it really is all about signs and symbolism. And I've really truly experienced a lot of what the type of things that happened in that movie. I've experienced that a lot in the last couple of years. And I think that's what Gematria has really opened my eyes to or shown me a little bit more. And because Gematria has truly helped me understand the odd things that are going on. I don't fully understand it, but I have a lot better of an idea of, you know, what I think is going on and everything else, you know. So I don't know. I just wanted to talk about that, I guess. This video wasn't really, I had no real purpose to talk about any certain topic. I just wanted to talk about basically why I haven't made a video for a while. Just tons of stuff. Everything I own has broke. My bass amp even broke the other day. I have 5 DJ gigs in the month of September, and I lost like all my MP3s. Thankfully, I got the little SATA cable or whatever, and my hard drive is fine. But now I have to recreate playlists and do all kinds of other stuff. And I have a band gig at the end of September, and I can use a DI at least. And if you understand what that means, I don't have to use my bass amp. I can run it to the subwoofer, but I'm gonna need a new bass amp soon, and whatever else. And my car needs new tires, and then now I'm always helping other people out, and then I can barely stay ahead of myself, and we're helping out my girlfriend's family all the time, and whatever else. So if I don't make videos for a while, I apologize to the few people who do, you know, that I do know watch, you know, what I'm showing and whatever else. But I really, really, I'm making these a lot for myself as well, so I can go back and if I ever need to understand something in a better way at the time that I understood it, then hey, I got these videos, you know, but you just have to wait for other people to want the truth. I really think that people are just not ready for it. They just, I don't know. One day they're going to search for it and maybe they'll find my video, find the blog, find somebody I ran out of my 15 minutes, but you get what I was saying. Just, someone seeking truth might stumble across this video or some other video or some other blog or whatever, and hopefully it will help them along the way by hearing somebody else's story, journey, whatever you want to call it. But I'm not going to quit making videos, but I might not make them as much as I used to. And that's been an ongoing thing, so since 2017 anyway. So I really want to make more, but every time I start getting on a groove, something happens, like my computer breaks or this or that. So hopefully it won't break anymore. Hopefully I'll be able to put out a few videos every night or something like that. But we'll see what happens. Or at least, at least put out more than I have in the last couple weeks. But I mean, this it's just amazing to me how many people just truly don't care about any of this or just don't even try to understand it themselves. And one more little rant. It's not even a rant, really. I guess it's just another thing. Like, honestly, like, I am a pretty well liked person, and I don't know why. I used to, I used to party a whole lot. I still do go out and party every now and then, and I do DJing and whatnot. So you do see a lot of people. I am a ridiculous, like, bullshitter. I don't know why. I don't, maybe I don't seem like it on these videos, but I'm really, like, outgoing. I say a lot of goofy stuff, and I don't even know. I just have this ability that, for whatever the reason, the people in this area just literally, I don't know. I really feel like a lot of people like me. And people ask me all the time, though, because I've been talking about this for how long now. And people always, when I go out, they'll say, who's going to win the World Series or this or that. And I'll tell them all the stuff if, they're curious, but they never go look at it for themselves. They just listen to me and they go, how do you know all of that? And I'm like, well, it took me, a half hour to look up whatever. All of this stuff that I'm telling you, it took me a half hour to look it all up. I didn't know it before, but I learned it in a half an hour. And all because I know this system. And they just never go apply it for themselves. And the next time you talk to them, they ask you the same question. And it's like, well, if you would just go watch what I'm talking about and try to understand it for yourself, you wouldn't have to ask me that every single time. But people just enjoy, I think they just enjoy it that, like, they want me to talk about it when they're partying a little bit, but they only want so much. They ask me that question, you tell them a bunch of stuff, and then all of a sudden they're just ready to party some more. They don't want to, like, continually have this conversation. And then it just sucks when you go out and you're like, man, I want to just keep telling people this stuff, but you got to know your boundaries with people. You got to know when to talk about it and when not to talk about it, and how much to say and how much not to say, until people can understand it for themselves and want to understand it. If that makes any sense. But that's just from my own experience. I just, I'm not some crazy retard on YouTube making videos because I want to be some crazy retard. I'm showing stuff that is, like, true, and it happens every single day. You show the same thing over and over and over and over and over. The media is super coded by the numbers, movies, sports, my everyday life. It's all connected to the same thing. And, you know, it, it just gets so repetitive, and you're like, when are people going to understand this or even give it a shot and try it out and try to learn it? But I don't know. I'm done ranting. Just like I said, wanted to make this video, explain some things of why I haven't made the videos. And 2017 has just been, it's been a jumbled up year. There's been so much crazy stuff going on. And there's just so many things that are connected to the things I'm talking about. There's things connected to my own life. I even posted about my neighbor. Like, I'm sitting on the car, but my neighbor died, and it was super coded by the numbers. And it just blows me away. Maybe I'll make a video on that at some other time, but where is it? I want to find it here really quick. So anyway, in regards to him, a while back, I made a bunch of a post about my neighbors. I pulled in and I was talking about the number 312, and I noticed that my neighbor's address, a different neighbor than the one who died, their address was 312, and mine's 306, and then the other one is like 302. So it went 302, 306, 312. And I'm like, that doesn't make that much sense. Whatever. But I just looked into my neighbor and some other stuff, and I had mentioned how he was a big Chicago Cubs fan, and ever since the Cubs won, he got sick, and he's been sick for how long? And whatever else. But this number 312, and I did some research. I've been talking a lot about the Jesuit order and how it's connected to a whole bunch of other stuff, even including North Korea and whatever else. And I even found out that the Korean War lasted for 3 years. What is it? 3 years, 1 month, 2 days. A lot like 312, right? And, you know, Pope Francis's real name equals 312. The Jesuit anniversary to Kim Jong Un's birthday, what Dennis Rodman says is 3 months, 12 days. Pope equals 312. This year's the 477th anniversary of the Jesuits, that equals 312. A bunch of other stuff about the Jesuits, but I talked about that in my neighbor's post, and I talked about my neighbor, and I talked about the Chicago Cubs and whatnot. Well, come to find out, my neighbor died on his obituary here. He died 4 months and 6 days after his birthday. Remember, Chicago equals 46, Chicago Cubs equal 46. The post that I wrote about him was on June 14th, Donald Trump's birthday, which was 46 days before he died. I mean, and then the other neighbor that I was talking about with the address of 312, her name's Wanda Martin, that also equals 46. So he completely died by the numbers. Died 4 months, 6 days after his birthday. You know, I wrote a post about him 46 days before he died, and I was talking about the Chicago Cubs, and they're all connected to 46. The word sacrifice equals 46. Also, I pointed out that 4 months and 6 days is also 128 days. So he died 128 days after his birthday, and he died 1 month, 28 days before the Jesuit anniversary. And his birthday, if you go from his birthday to the Jesuit anniversary, a span of 187 days. Society of Jesus equals 187 in reverse. I mean, just some weird stuff. There's a whole bunch more of this post, but because as I was writing about 312, I was mentioning a post about Rihanna, and right when I started typing about Rihanna, the TV had Newlywed Game Show on, and the people want a trip to Barbados. Right when I was talking about Rihanna on the blog, and of course Rihanna's from Barbados. I've talked a lot about Rihanna and the Trident and Neptune, and Barbados's flag is the Trident, and a whole bunch of other stuff, you know. So I don't know. It's just pretty strange. My neighbor even dies by the numbers, and and he even dies, in connection to, exactly the amount of days after I even made a blog about him. But whatever. I'm gonna end the video here. Hopefully, I want to make the hopefully I want to make the Gravity Falls video, because that one's really stuck in my head and whatnot. I've been trying to watch this TV show, but it's just so terrible I can't. But it's really for little kids, but tons and tons and tons of symbolism in there. But I want to make the point about how, you know, they want kids to think that it's limited to just that TV show, and that's why they do these puzzles and whatnot only in this certain TV show. But when in reality, if you watch my videos, it's in everything, It's in the news, it's in the sports leagues. It's not just limited to this TV show like I think they want a lot of little kids to think and whatnot. But whatever, I'm done with this video. Peace, hopefully I'll continue to make, keep up on these videos. We'll see how technology works and whatever else. So, bye.